In this lesson, we're going to learn how to divide monomials. Okay, so remember that a monomial just means one. Okay, so it can be a variable, a number, or a product of variables and numbers. Okay, so when we want to divide monomials, we're going to subtract the exponents. Okay, so again, because the coefficient here is just 1 divided by 1 is 1, okay? And then the exponents I'm going to subtract. So here I have 5 minus 2. So because I have more on top, it's b to the third. Okay, it's like if I subtract and I take away all 2 here, I must have 3 left over up here. Okay, looking at the second one. Here I have m to the 7th, n to the 5th, divided by m. Remember, if there's no exponent, it's 1, and n to the 2. Okay? So if I subtract the m's, 7 minus 1, there are 6 left on top. And subtracting the n's, 5 minus 2, there are 3 left on top. Okay, so pause the video for a moment and try these on your own. Okay, so here, if we're subtracting, here I have x to the third minus x squared, so I have x left on top, okay? And then 7 minus 6, I have 1 left on top, so y to the 1, or just xy. Okay, so now when we actually have different coefficients, remember the numbers you're still dividing. 81 divided by 9 is 9. Okay, subtracting the exponents. How much is left on top? A to the third. Remember that this is a 1 here, so b squared. So 9a to the third, b squared would be simplified. Okay, so here's just a visual to remember that anything to the power of 0, anything to the 0 power is equal to 1. Okay, so here we have 3 divided by 3. So 3 to the 0 power is 1. Okay, x to the 0 power is equal to 1, and m to the 0 power is equal to 1. Okay, so anything to the 0 power is going to be equal to 1. Here's another thing about negative exponents. Okay, so if I have something like that's negative, here I have a to the negative n. Okay, so if I want to write it as a fraction, it's a to the negative n over 1. But I want this to be positive. Okay, so if I flip it by using the reciprocal and bring it down to the bottom, I then have 1 over a to the n. Okay, so if something is negative on top and you bring it to the bottom, it becomes positive. Okay, the same is true if you start off with 1 over a to the negative n. If I bring it up, I make this n positive. Okay, so using the reciprocal by flipping it can help you get a positive exponent, and that's what we want to do in the next couple problems. Okay, so here in this first example, we have x to the negative 4, y to the 0. Okay, so I'm going to do each of these separately. So if I want to make this positive, I'm going to put it on the bottom. I'm going to make it 1 over x to the 4th. Okay, so I also know that anything to the 0 power is just 1. Okay, so my new answer becomes 1 over x to the 4th. Okay, so here, in order to make this positive, I need to bring it to the denominator. So I'm going to make it 1 over p to the 7th. Okay, brought it down. And now I want to make this here, p to the negative 5, positive. So I'm going to bring it up. Okay, it's just like the reciprocal. Okay, so I'm multiplying 1 here just to show you what it truly means, but really all we're doing is flipping it. Okay, so now I have p5 over p7. Okay, that's the first step, is to get your exponents positive. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and subtract. Okay, so now I'm going to do 5 minus 7. Okay, but I have more left over in the bottom. So if I take away all of these, I'll have 2 left here. Okay, so on top I have nothing left, so if I multiply by 1, it's the same thing. So I have 1 over p squared. Okay, let's try one more. Here, if I do, what can I divide this and this by? I can divide them both by 3. Okay, so I'll have 1 left here and 6 left here. If I subtract the r's, 4 minus 3, I take away all 3. I have 1 left over. Here, if I'm subtracting, I take away the 2 here, and I'll have 2 left over. Okay, so if I rewrite this, it looks like all I have left on top is r, and on the bottom I have 6 s squared. Okay, so we're just trying to simplify through. Okay, let's pause the video for a moment, and I'd like you to try these two on your own. Okay, so the first step in number 1 is to get rid of this negative exponent by bringing it down. So on top I'll just have 1. This one here is already positive, and I'm bringing down, now x to the third becomes positive. Okay, going back to the first section, when I'm multiplying monomials, I'm adding them. So 1 over x to the 7th. That's your final answer. Okay, so here, anything that's negative, I'm just going to flip it to the bottom. Okay, so r to the negative 5, I want to make positive. So r 5. S negative 2, I'd like to make positive. Okay, this one on the denominator can stay. And here I need to bring this up top to make it positive. Okay, so all I've done so far is move any negative to the opposite. Okay, so now I can see what I can simplify here. So here I have S2. So if I take out S2, I'll just have S. And then here I'm multiplying R5 and R3. So remember, multiplying monomials, I multiply the coefficient, which is 1, and I add the exponent. Okay, so on top I have S. So S over R to the 8th. Okay, so here we're actually going to combine everything that we know together. Okay, so if you notice, this problem right here is the same as down here. Okay, so here this squared needs to be multiplied here because it's power to a power. Okay, so this becomes x to the negative 6th, which is right here, and y to the 4th. Okay, this 3 comes down, so 4 to the 3rd, and x to the 6th, which you see right here. Okay, so next step is to make all of the exponents positive. So all I need to do is move down x to the 6th down here. Everything else stays the same. Okay, so I can do 4 to the 3rd. 4 to the 3rd is 64. Okay, here I have x to the 6th and another x to the 6th. So x to the 12th. And then y to the 4th on top. Okay, so I want to look to see, sorry, let me just put this line here. Is there anything else I can simplify? Any variables the same? No. Okay, so this is going to be your final answer here. Okay, last one for you to try on your own. Okay, so pause the video for a moment and try this one. Okay, so here we have power to powers. So negative 3 squared, x to the powers multiply, 4th, and y to the negative 2. Okay, so I'm multiplying here over, again, 2 to the 3rd, x to the 3rd, and y to the 9th. Okay, next step is to get all positive exponents. So I'm going to move this negative down to the bottom. Okay, so now it's positive down here. Okay, so next step is to see if I can simplify a little bit. Well, here I know negative 3 squared is 9. And then on the bottom, 2 to the third power is 8. X to the third. And then I see I have y to the 9th and y2, so I have altogether, I have 11 of them. Okay, now let's go ahead and see if I can cancel anything out. So I know I can subtract. There's more x's on top, so if I take away x to the third, I have x to the 1 left on top. Can't do anything with the 9 and the 8, so my final answer is 9x over 8y to the 11th.